For our small group communications workshop, we plan to inform you about the implementation of a roadmap for the purpose of giving aid to healthcare professionals for general interactions in the workplace. Our audience for this workshop is any healthcare professional, which we seek to inform about small group communications concepts, theories, ideas, and best practices. This workshop will provide practical strategies for effective communication and collaboration in small groups. These activities will be done once a week for 6 weeks. For our first point, the format of this set of activities will put our participants in a separate room where they will listen to the information in the given time span. These activities are relatively short and will span a total of 3.5 hours over 6 weeks. Communicating in healthcare environments is one of the most important things any professional must do in order to provide for patients. For our second point, we want to make our purpose known that communication is crucial to success, especially in the eyes of a patient. When a patient undergoes extreme stress, they should feel comfortable in their hands, and practicing this communication will push us towards that. Upon completing this workshop, healthcare professionals will have a better understanding of communication techniques that will help them in coordinating with other workers in an efficient manner. Here is our objective roadmap. We have 6 objectives that we want to go through with our participants: the group competency survey, the verbal and nonverbal exercise, group dynamics, conflict resolution, and interactive role play, and group decision making. Each activity is full of planned content that will be shared with everyone. To get a better idea of what each activity has in store for the participants, it would be best to break each of them down. The following slides contain information about the overviews of each activity, which does not contain the specifics of the methods that will be used for each activity, all of which will be explained in the breakdown. Our first activity is the group competency survey. The group competency survey is a written survey that will be handed out to each participant in the workshop. This survey is provided with questions that will help give the workshop coordinators a better idea of their participants' skills, behaviors, knowledge, and comfortability relating to the communications in a professional medical environment. This survey will allow the workshop coordinators to make changes to any of the future sessions that the participants will experience, and will better prepare us for the people that we're dealing with and how they feel. The survey won't be too lengthy and should last about 30 minutes. Our next activity is a verbal and nonverbal communication activity. This is our second week activity that follows the survey. The verbal and nonverbal communication exercise will use Ann Donaldson's team talk to demonstrate the methods of verbal and nonverbal communication between the group members. This activity will help the group members understand each other through common uses of verbal and nonverbal communication to convey their emotions or intentions in the professional medical environment. One of our main objectives is to help the workers in the medical environment to feel more comfortable with one another as they communicate in both casual and critical moments during operations. Another purpose of this is to help reduce the tension that may arise between workers that don't know each other at all or very well, and will encourage them to get to know each other when times are appropriate. This activity should last about 30 minutes. The third activity is the small groups dynamics activity. This activity will uncover the ways that each individual interacts with each other and what their role is in the group as a whole. It will help break social tension and allow all individuals to have an equal share in the group discussion activity without feeling left out. This means that the social tendency of some people in a group to speak much more than others will be challenged so that everybody will have a chance to share the spotlight. Next is the small group conflict resolution activity. This activity will implement the 4 R's of conflict management, which describes reasons, reactions, results, and resolution. This method will analyze general disagreement in the medical environment, will outline the most common causes of conflict in the medical environment, and how to properly handle and solve the conflict. The objective of this activity is to implement ideas of conflict resolution in the minds of each worker as they face social challenges with other workers. This activity should last around 30 minutes. Our second to last activity is the interactive group roleplay. Healthcare professionals will participate in an interactive roleplay using templates in Michael Pagano's Healthcare Communication Case Studies examples. These activities will demonstrate the proper way to interact with patients and each other and other healthcare professionals in the medical environment to reduce tension and effectively communicate information. These examples are short and will involve both the participants and the workshop coordinators. These scenarios will include realistic situations backed up by Michael Pagano and other individuals who have experienced the same or similar situations. The roleplay scenarios are short to keep everyone engaged and to cover as many situations as possible in the time given. The objective of this activity is to place workers in stressful situations so they can better handle real interactions. This activity should last around an hour, which is longer than most of our activities because not only is this activity one of the most important ones, it must cover multiple situations that are present in this environment. Finally, we have effective group decision making. This group activity introduces scenarios that underline important and common situations that medical professionals are put in that require critical thinking and proper action. This includes exercises and examples of situations that demonstrate proper action to be made in each scenario. This activity is similar to the group role play activity that it demonstrates real examples of interactions in the medical environment. The difference between group decision-making and group role play is that group decision-making involves scenarios that involve the interactions between the worker and the patient rather than between workers. We will now go over each activity in detail. Each activity will be called a session and will contain specific information about the activity, how it may be performed, and how it benefits the participants. For our first session, we have our group competency survey. The act of pursuing an understanding of others is something that many strive for in the workforce, but are unable to efficiently do. This is prevalent in surveys that lack a sense of direction as well. To create a proper and effective survey, 7 steps can be taken. Step 1 is creating focus, which narrows the objective down to singular issues or topics. Step 2 is choosing the right method, which describes the method by which the survey will be executed. Step 3 is asking good questions, which maintains relevant and effective questions in order to accomplish the objective as described in Step 1. Step 4 is getting buy-in and participation, which involves creating a sample size and asking for help from others in order to conduct a more proper and effective survey. Step 5 is conducting the survey, which involves the process of providing the survey to the participants and receiving their results. Step 6 is analyzing and reporting the results, which is the process of turning the participants' results into data that will be analyzed and used to effectively conduct the rest of the sessions. And finally, Step 7, which is communicating and taking action, which describes the act of what will be done with the information gathered in Step 6. These measures assure that our survey is conducted properly with valuable questions that aren't so open-ended. This information will be used to identify the audience of our group and develop proper action to take to ensure our future sessions are fitted for our demographic. An example question on the survey may ask something like, "What is your medical profession?" or may include statements of agreement on a 4-point scale. For example, strongly disagree, disagree, agree, and strongly agree, like, "I enjoy how my workers treat me." Session 2 describes verbal and nonverbal communication and is an important factor for expressing emotions and discussion continuity. This activity will be conducted through the guideline dimensions of Ann Donaldson's Team Talk, which will modify the way participants interact with patients and one another. The Team Talk will outline the 6 different dimensions of communication, which are as follows: identification talk, interdependence talk, balanced power differentiation talk, social equality talk, conflict management talk, and negotiation talk. These Team Talk exercises will include demonstrations that outline the most common verbal and nonverbal communication techniques that span from proper and improper methods of execution. Session 3 describes small group dynamics. Group dynamics can impact communication and decision-making in several ways. For example, if the group has a dominant leader, other members may be less likely to speak up or challenge ideas. If the group is highly cohesive, members may be more likely to conform to the group's norms and values, even if they don't fully agree. We will now go into detail about the common roles of small group dynamics and the importance of how it functions in our process.
Group dynamics refers to the way the people interact with one another within a group. In a healthcare setting, group dynamics are an essential part of effective communication and teamwork. One important aspect of group dynamics is the roles that people play within the group. Common roles are leader, facilitator, recorder, devil's advocate, informative provider, and gatekeeper. Understanding these roles and how they influence groups' interactions is key to promoting effective communication. Another important aspect of group dynamics is the level of cohesion within the group. Cohesion refers to the degree of which group members feel a sense of unity and belonging. High levels of cohesion can lead to increased motivation and productivity, while low levels of cohesion can lead to conflict and disagreement. Group norms are also an important part of group dynamics. Norms are the unwritten rules that govern behavior within a group. They can include things like communication styles, decision-making processes, and expectations for participation. Understanding and working within the group norms is crucial for effective communication and collaboration. Finally, communication patterns are another key aspect of group dynamics. These patterns can include things like who speaks when, how information is shared, and how decisions are made. Being aware of these communication patterns and working to improve them can lead to better outcomes for the group. In a healthcare setting, understanding and working with group dynamics is essential for promoting effective communication and teamwork. By recognizing the roles that people play, the level of cohesion within the group norms, and communication patterns, healthcare providers can work together more effectively to provide the best possible care for their patients.
Hello, my name is Richy, and I'm going to be doing small group conflict resolution, interactive group roleplay, and effective group decision making. So for session 4, small group conflict is an inevitable part of working in teams. However, it is essential to resolve conflicts quickly and effectively to maintain a productive and positive working environment. Here are some key points to consider when resolving conflicts in small groups. First, identify the conflict. The first step in resolving conflict in small groups is to identify the issue at hand. It is essential to understand the root cause of the conflict before taking any action. Second, choosing a resolution strategy. Once a conflict is identified, it's essential to choose a resolution strategy. There are different conflict resolution strategies such as collaboration, compromise, competition, accommodation, and avoidance. It is crucial to choose a strategy that aligns with goals and values of the group. Third, effective communication is a key to resolving conflicts in small groups. It is also essential to actively listen to each other's concerns and emphasize their feelings and respect their opinions. Meditation. In some cases, conflicts may be too complex to resolve without the help of a mediator. A mediator is a neutral third party who can facilitate communication and help parties find a mutually acceptable solution. Conflict management skills. Developing conflict management skills is essential for resolving conflict in small groups. Self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and problem-solving skills are vital for effective conflict management. Focus on the issue, not the person. It is important to focus on the issue at hand rather than the person. Personal attacks can escalate conflicts and make them more challenging to resolve in a small group. Brainstorming solution. Brainstorming solutions can help generate new ideas and perspectives that can lead to a mutually acceptable solution. Follow-up. After the conflict is resolved, it is essential to follow up with the group to ensure that the solution is working effectively. If the solution is not working, it is important to reevaluate and try a different approach. Interactive group roleplay. Interactive group roleplay is an effective tool to develop and practice conflict resolution skills in a safe, controlled environment. Here are 3 key points to consider when planning and conducting an interactive group roleplay. Choosing a relevant scenario. The scenario should be relevant to the group's objectives and the type of conflict they are likely to encounter in real life. The roleplay should be designed to enable participants to practice the specific skills they need to address the conflict effectively. Set clear rules and guidelines. Clear rules and guidelines should be established before the roleplay to ensure that everyone understands what is expected of them. This includes outlining the role of a facilitator, the time frame for the roleplay, and the behavior expected from the participants. Debrief and evaluate. After the roleplay, participants should be given an opportunity to debrief and evaluate their performance. The debriefing process provides a safe space for participants to reflect on their behavior, identify areas for improvement, and practice new strategies for addressing conflict in the future. In summary, interactive group roleplay is a valuable tool for developing conflict resolution skills by choosing a relevant scenario, setting clear rules and guidelines, and debriefing and evaluating their performances. Participants can practice new strategies and develop the confidence and competence to address conflicts effectively and even in real life. Effective group decision making. Effective group decision making is crucial for a success of any team or organization. Here are 3 key points to consider when working towards effective group decision making. Clear goals and objectives. Before starting a decision making process, it is important to establish clear goals and objectives. The group should have a shared understanding of what they are trying to achieve, what the decision will impact, and what criteria will be used to evaluate potential options. Open communication and collaborations. Effective group decision making requires open communication and collaboration. Members should feel comfortable expressing their opinions and ideas and be willing to listen to and consider the perspective of others. Encouraging respectful and constructive discussion and debate can lead to more creative and informed decisions. Last, using decision-making tools and techniques. There are various decision-making tools and techniques that can help groups make more effective decisions. These include brainstorming, SWOT analysis, cost-benefit analysis, and multi-voting. Using these tools and techniques can help structure the decision-making process, which promotes a more thorough evaluation of options and improve the quality of the final decision. Thank you.
We have outlined a workshop for effective team building and small group communication for healthcare providers. By the end of the workshop, healthcare providers should have a better understanding of small group communication, including the stages of group formation and development, effective communication strategies, leadership and decision making, conflict resolution, and group diversity. We hope that this workshop will provide healthcare providers with the skills and strategies needed to effectively communicate and work in small groups, ultimately leading to improved patient care and outcomes. Thank you.